Hi there. I was born in Brooklyn, not far from a giant statue. Now, I don't worry that they're ever going to pull it down, but many others are at risk. Robert E. Lee in Virginia, because he led the Southern cause. New York City has a commission now looking at all of their statues. I wonder if that includes the big one. But Grant and Roosevelt and Columbus. Why? Because he did what? Oh yes, he discovered America, and the Native Americans suffered after Chris discovered it. Now, what are they going to do next? Get rid of the university, the avenue, the circle, the District of Columbia, everything that's named after him? Some statues are meant to annoy, like that one in Detroit. The Satanic Temple spent $100,000 on a 1-ton bronze monstrosity that has horns and hooves. They put up pentagrams inscribed "In Satan We Trust" next to Christmas Nativity Scenes. They're trying to get God out of government. Yeah, it's their right because of the First Amendment. There's also freedom of religion. But I think it's sad that they already got a win forcing the state of Oklahoma to take down a monument to the Ten Commandments. I worry about how far this will go. What about that giant statue near where I grew up in Brooklyn? Its official name is Liberty Enlightening the World. But it's also called the Mother of Exiles and Torch Girl. One arm holds a plaque with America's birth date on it. The other brings the light of freedom to the world. If you look at anything, you can always find a flaw. Now, you'd think that nobody would be offended by the Statue of Liberty, right? She stands for the promise of America and the abolition of slavery. But African Americans found her to be ironic. I mean, America was supposed to be free and just, but prejudice and racism continue to exist. The Statue of Liberty was inspired by the Roman goddess Libertas. Now, the Roman Empire grew in part because when they conquered a people, they took their gods and they put them into the Pantheon, which is still standing, and they added to all the Roman gods. I wonder if Libertas, the bringer of light, is in some way connected to a much, much older bringer of light, Lucifer, who actually has a history. Nah, that can't be possible, now can it? So is the lesson that a less than perfect past gets statues pulled down and you from ever getting one? I hope not. The lesson is that everyone has flaws. You can't go back in time, but you can do your best tomorrow and every tomorrow. History happened, learn from it, and then see if you can do better than it. By the way, Christians believed in one true God. So they didn't fit into the Roman system. That's why they were fed to the lions for the mob's amusement. And another, by the way, at the start of the American Civil War, General Lee was offered command of the northern armies, but he said no because he did not want to fight against his home state. At the end of the war, he surrendered his great army of Northern Virginia rather than have it go guerrilla and prolong the war God only knows how long. The most hallowed ground in America is his former estate. It is now called Arlington National Cemetery, and God grant peace to all who rest there. And last, by the way, the Statue of Liberty and the Eiffel Tower have the same dad. The lady's mom is Charlotte, the sculptor's mother. You can take a look at her face. You used to be able to look at it close up and personal, but German saboteurs tried to blow the statue up during World War I, so that stopped. She weighs 225 tons. She's 305 feet tall, and her shoe size is 879. Now, why don't you try that on for size? I am Mike for the Be More Better team. Thank you for watching. We really appreciate it. Please comment, like, subscribe if you haven't, but always, always be more better. Body, mind, and spirit. And then be even more better when you share that knowing history can make you better too. And now a shout out to Sean and Mike, and especially Joe. This has been a pleasure. Until the next one, bye now. She stands for the promise of America and the abolition. You know, you could take a look at her face. You used to be able to look at it up close. Blah.